Well, you see, from yesterday's recording, I started feeling flat. This was in the dark, in the night. Couldn't, do my usual practices. Just didn't. The motivation wasn't there. But the day turned out to be just lovely, as usual. It actually rained much of the day. Made no difference. It was a good day. I'd resolved that I should drive more carefully, the car, I do things too spontaneously, road junctions. I don't mean I've had a major accident at a road junction or anything like that, but I'm just aware that you're not as safe as you should be, Marshall. So I resolved to really put my mind to it, and I even told the kids that I was taking to school, my daughter and friends and so on. I said, I'm trying to drive more carefully and be more focused when I get to road junctions, especially. I want to take more care and be safer. I'm training myself, you see, is what I was saying to them, wasn't I? And of course, I have in mind that they have a future and possibly driving and living generally. And I want them to know, to have example, don't I, that you can put things right by practice and resolve and awareness. You see, we are, by the grace and the love of God in us, His love for us and our love for Him, we are spontaneous in wanting the welfare of others, and in that sense, unashamedly, I say we teach. We're teaching all the time. It's just that we don't want them to know we don't want to be dominating, but we do so want them to be trained up so that they live spontaneously a beautiful, safe, prosperous, abundant life. Jesus, He personifies, doesn't He, in the story, a person who has come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. In other words, He's His Father's Son, and we are too. We are the children of God. What a lovely, wonderful privilege. How beautiful. And we know Him as He is, that He actually doesn't just love us, but He loves all. Everything that He's made because He values it, both enough to create it and sustain it. You are my God, and I will praise you. Why will I praise you? Because it focuses me on all that's good and lovely, and my life is transformed by such into life eternal. You see, we love Him because He first loved us. And our spontaneous reaction is overwhelming gratitude and love when we think of all His care of us. So do so that your life be blessed. You see, I was flat yesterday morning, first thing. I thought, well, this is something that you will suffer from too. So I put my mind to talking and demonstrating how you come through. Suddenly I had purpose, you see. Why did I have purpose? Because I was outward looking, not inward. I mean, it was selfishly driven because nobody wants to feel flat. You want to feel full of life. But how do you take hold of it? You think of the goodness of God And you go out and help and rescue and create and protect and support. And the result is you're alive. Because God is creativity and you're a child of God. We are born to eternally create the eternal, which is more and more and more wonderful by the grace and the goodness and the love of our God, our Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. So you see what a difference this morning is compared to yesterday. But it's easy for me this morning. Why is it easy? I'm not sure, because the dreams I had, God wasn't in the dreams. I mean, in any obvious way that I was aware of. And, but the dreams weren't, definitely bad, or they had problems, and, I was coping with the problems in the dream. And I woke up. It was, hang on a minute. Oh, I think I had about 4.5 hours sleep at that point, I worked out, yeah. So it must have been 9:30 to 2:30. No, 2 o'clock, yeah, of course. And I was laying there. I stretched, tensed the muscles from the feet, first of all the way up the body, hold, count of 3, breathe out, relaxing to the count of 3. Do that 2 or 3 times. Then I just relaxed there, and I managed to do some breathing, not too bad. The tensing and relaxing launches you into the breathing, you see, because you're doing a deep breath each time. And then, I go into my triangular breathing. It was possibly pretty low, like a count of 5, hold, out to the count of 5. And within a few breaths, you extend that to what you're comfortable at. And I found, as my mind was not particularly on it after that, that I was actually breathing to the count of 8, which when I measured a good few minutes, quarter of an hour later, I found to be a breath of just short of 30 seconds each breath, which very easily slips into just more than 30 seconds, which is what Paramahansa indicated was about the right time for a Kriya breath, as he calls it, devotion to God. Come that you might have life. The life is in the breath. There's a clue there, or at least there's an interesting link. And I was, I had the will this morning. Why did I have the will this morning? Because yesterday was a more spiritual day. I think that's the reason. The dreams weren't bad, The sleep was pretty good, 4.5 hours, nice, good, solid sleep. I put an extra cover on because I think the temperature's dropped a bit. And you see, the day yesterday was creative. I was careful in driving. I felt after having driven the kids twice, to school and then pick them up from school. I had my maths couple of hours with a friend of mine who's a retired mathematician. That was good. She's becoming and wants to be just a good friend. He's secular Maori chap. I think he realises, in his sense, it's been a good, successful life. You know, he owns his own house and he's been with his wife for something like, I don't know, I think it was something like 28 years or something. And his life is good, but I think he realises that it's material, but he's got a deeper feeling for more than that, which many people, especially of other cultures, have. You know, Maori culture in his case, but extremely modernised, of course, because he's an intellectual like myself, I'm afraid. I say that because it always makes one sound as if one's being arrogant and elitist, because in the world it is elitism, but with God it's not. You know in your heart you're just another child of God, simplistically perhaps more capable in some fields but than many other people, but just a child. And I know from his application he has an interesting habit of escorting me off the premises, which is one that I have when people visit the house here. I like to not just welcome them when they come in, but in some sense welcome them off the premises too. That I'm really saying in my heart, of course, that God be with them. And he's saying that he's demonstrating his friendship by taking you to the gate and saying a few words, chatting before you leave. He's got a good heart. So's his wife. She's a fine woman. And yet they're both secular. But they don't, perhaps they do know it. They're friendly. They're of good intent. Isn't that lovely? What a lovely couple. It's a privilege to know some people, isn't it? I mean, it's a privilege to know anyone if you think about it, because they too are children of God. And I might point out, incidentally, they will be wonderful friends in eternity. How lovely. Where was I? Why did today start so well? Oh, quite simply, I think, because yesterday was peacefully handled by me, by the grace of God, of course. That what the world would see as an incredibly ordinary day was just good. I as you perhaps could see, published 6, I don't know. Published 4 recordings for YouTube. That was good. I feel, in Elon Musk terms, I feel I have contributed to my essential purpose and being by doing that. As I say, I put it in terms of it's a ministry to me. It's something that makes the whole of my life somehow valid. A devotion to God in a very practical way, not a meditation or a religious way, just in a simple, practical way. Yeah. I was mindful during the day to write down all the things I was thankful for. I even did a list of the continual things that we're thankful for. Thoughts of God, knowing God, loving God, knowing His love for us. I didn't put that down in that much detail, but I did put it down. And health, and home, and being, and thoughts, and objects, you know, the home you're in, the car you drive, perhaps, the people you know. And I listed the people that were really significant in my life. I'm surprised they came to about 16. And there'd be more than that if I kept on putting my mind to it. You see, these simple practices bring life. Listening to people deliberately brings life to the relationship. Being aware of every little thing that goes right, the thing in the right place at the right time, the right thought, oh, I remember to do so and so. To be thankful as they happen to God, so that you keep God well to the fore of you. You're relating to Him during your living all the time. Increasingly, I mean. And the blessing is just beautiful. Just beautiful. I had a bit of trouble with my recordings yesterday. I realised, like the day before, that my recordings, even when I increase the volume, are too quiet to hear comfortably. And I've only just remembered I should be speaking louder, which is what I'm doing now. Of course, I'm concerned that at, 3:38 in the morning, I mustn't talk too loudly. So I hold the phone closer, the microphone of the phone, that I don't have this trouble. I don't seem to be able to increase the volume on my recordings to the extent that I want without it becoming incredibly vibrating and horrible to hear, which of course is not what you want. And of course the simple answer is, well, you should just record it louder in the first place, Marshall. I've tried using a microphone and everything else. That doesn't seem to work. The increasing volume is helpful, but it has its limitations, you see. And as I say, it becomes grating and most unpleasant to listen to if I overdo it. You know, if I increase it by, 17 decibels, and if I only increase it by something like 7, it just doesn't seem enough. But I shall practice with the next, the current 5 that I'm preparing for YouTube at the minute, and see if I can get it right. But we don't take these difficulties as anything but blessing. Everything God gives us is to bless us, is the theory. It's the hope, is the ideal. My God is the ideal. So I attribute it to Him. You see what I mean? And your difficulties then become a blessing, and you handle the difficulties much better, of course. You know, you stop kicking yourself around because you're not driving as carefully as you should. You simply say, right, well, what can I do to increase practice and improve it? Let's make it a priority. And then, of course, you take delight in solving the problems. If you think of it, much of your happiness and joy is the solving of things that were difficult or lacking or of concern to you. Your lack and your concern is your great blessing, you see. It nudges you into finding a solution by the grace and the goodness of God. Goodness. 20 minutes this recording, I must stop. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.